So what I want you to be doing is looking at your own quiz. Okay. And starting out, my first question was on number 13. So I am also looking at the quiz. And actually, I lied. I'm not there right now. I can't find it. We'll find it in a minute. I've got so many windows open. Okay, I'm just going to start over. All right, super almost there. And now I'm there. Okay, so number 13 is vocab. So I think this was one of the ones where you had to pick the right answer. So let's see. It says, ¿A qué hora blank la biblioteca por la mañana? What time does the library blank in the morning? So I think it would make sense to say, what time does the library open in the morning? So the word open is se abre, okay? Because it is morning. If it just said like evening or whatever, then you might think close. But in this case, what time does it open? Se abre in the morning. Number 15, Ignacio has to blank a check at the bank. He needs to cash a check. So the expression is cobrar un cheque. Okay, just kind of a vocab expression there. And next up was number, I think we're all the way down to 26 now. 26, so go ahead and scroll down. Maybe you got it right, maybe you got it wrong, maybe you guessed. 26. Oh yeah, I'm glad you asked about that. You know what, I'm gonna back up to 25 too. I feel like sometimes people miss this one. So you have to identify the subject here. So if it's my family and I, so I'm looking at 25 right now, that's always we, okay? So fuimos al cine. For 26, the class was interesting. The class is a thing. So if it's a thing, a class, an animal, a tree, a movie, whatever the thing is, it's always going to fall under the he, she category of verbs. So the LA form. So la clase fue, it was very interesting. So sometimes it is hard to know where to put things, but if it's one thing, it goes with he, she. If it's a bunch of things like las clases, then it would go under they. So for 26, fue, good question. And 27, I started the homework at 8. So empecé, yo form ends with an E, but it's a czar verb, so that Z is going to have to change to C. Empecé la tarea. Okay, let's see. I think those were the only ones that people asked about. Anybody else have a final question you'd like me to go over real quick? Anyone? Anyone? Going once? Going twice? Okay.
Can you do 30? Sorry, I put it in the chat. I guess you didn't see it.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Oh, I didn't actually scroll down to see it. Yeah. Okay, let me go back here. Yeah, of course. 30, 30. All right, everybody go to 30. Okay, so jugar, this is a good one, and we're going to use it in our speaking questions today. So it's a gar verb, so we have to be careful on our spelling. It's J-U-G, and we have to add in a U. So G-U-E with an accent. Otherwise, you have juge, and we want that hard G sound, that G. So jugue with a G-U-E with an accent at the end. Anybody else? Okay. So now let's switch gears and talk about speaking, okay? So what I will do, I guess I'll go ahead and pull up the questions. Why don't you pull up wherever you've been writing these down or keeping track of them? What I would like to do is go through a few more of these together, then give you a little more time to work on yours. Then I guess I would say by tomorrow, you need to have all of these questions answered so that then we can just practice, practice, practice. All right. If we were in class, I'd have you working in groups and then have you working with partners. So I want to recreate that as much as possible online. So grab wherever you're writing things down. Yesterday, I mentioned Google Translate, right? Sometimes it can be a problem for your Spanish teacher who hates it when you Google Translate everything. In this case, it's okay to use, right? So if you have a question and you're not sure what it means, use your resources. Quickest way to figure out what it means is Google Translate it. All right, so that should be super easy. Then when you're coming up with answers, you need to come up with a simple answer that you can memorize. So that means maybe a little less Google translating, because if you translate it and you get all these fancy things, there is no way you're going to be able to memorize all those. So, if you need to look up a word for your answer, like you can't remember how to say shower, or you can't remember how to say I went, or whatever, that you can look up, and probably you'll recognize it and it'll be simple. But you need to be really careful not to look up too many things to make it overly complicated for you to memorize. So here's what we talked about yesterday. If you were not here or you're at all confused, I will give you a very quick recap on this. And then I want to actually go through a few more questions with you. So recap is Thursday and Friday. You will be in a group, a little breakout room with me and one other person. The other person will be random. You don't get to pick them. I don't get to pick them. We're just let the computer pick them. All right. And then I'm going to say, okay, Keegan, ask Callie group B. And now Keegan is going to be able to look at the questions. He does not have to memorize those. Okay, I will show them to him. And he can say, okay, Callie, te levantas tarde or temprano durante las vacaciones. Now, I will be listening to his pronunciation, okay? So you want to practice these. You want to say them out loud. That will kind of go towards your own pronunciation grade. So just go through them once or twice. I don't care if they're not perfect. I don't care if but you should have practiced them, saying them once or twice. Then Callie will be answering in a complete sentence in Spanish. A basic answer is fine, okay? If he asked this first one, so do you wake up early or late on vacation? So I would be listening for number 1, can I understand your answer? Number 2, how's the grammar? You're going to take the verb that's in the you form and put it in the me form, in the I form, right? So me levanto tarde or me levanto temprano. Okay. So I'll be listening for that. I'll be listening for your pronunciation, and then I'll be listening. If you can add something, do it. If you can't, that's fine. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it. But if you can, then you should. Me levanto tarde durante las vacaciones. And then I might add on, I'm getting up late. Me gusta dormir, because I like to sleep. So I could add a little bit more and make my answer a little bit better if I'm able. All right. If you're not able, don't. Give me something basic. Okay. And then so he'd go through these 5, then I'd switch. I'd be like, okay, Callie, you're going to ask Keegan A. Right. So then she would ask him ... those 5 questions. And that's it. So that's what I'm looking for. And I already showed you the rubric that was on yesterday's assignment. If you want to go back and look at that, or if you want to look at it under class resources, it is there for you. So before we jump back into some specific questions, I want to do some specifics every day. So we did some from group A yesterday. I want to do some from group B today. We'll do some from group C tomorrow. Does anybody have any general questions, how things work? I don't know, just anything in general that I need to clear up for you.
Yeah, I had a question for group A. D, I couldn't figure out what the question was asking.
Okay, so group A, let me get there. Which question?
D.
The 4th one, is that what you mean?
Oh, I lettered them in my
That's
notes.
fine. Yeah, got it. That's what I figured. Okay, so here's, you know what you did, because somebody else asked me this earlier. This is a Google Translate problem. So this is why Google is sometimes helpful and sometimes not helpful. If you Google Translate this, it says, what sports team did you buy? Is that what it said, Harlan?
It says, what sports equipment did you buy for the team?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's on the right track. Okay. That's the problem with Google Translate, right? It's never 100%. All right. So equipo can mean team, or it can mean sports equipment. So in this case, I just want it to mean sports equipment. That was the way we used it. And that's what it is on your vocab. So I want to know, what sports equipment did you buy? So you could say, I bought a tennis racket. I bought a ball. I bought skates. If you're looking for vocab words, those are all vocab. I think golf club was vocab. So you could say one of those. If you want to look up something different, you can, as long as it's not too hard for you to memorize. Does that answer your question, Harlan?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, sure. All right, any other questions for the good of the group before I jump to group B? Okay. So yesterday, I'm pretty sure, actually looking back at group A, I think I did the first two. Now we kind of just talked about the third one here. Did anybody have a question on, I guess, the third or the fifth one before I kind of jump to group B? The fifth one is a super general one. What'd you do last weekend? Right? So you could say anything. I ate, I talked, I went, I listened to, I played. So think of whatever verb you want to use there. All right, well, let's go on to group B then. Let's do a couple here and maybe let's do at least 3 here before I think about giving you some group time. So I'm going to go with the second one here. I'm going to do 1 reflexive and then I want to do 2 past tense, 2 preterites. Okay, so let's start with ¿Qué ropa te pones para ir a la escuela? So I'm doing group B, the second one. Somebody want to give me a quick translate? What does that mean? ¿Qué ropa te pones para ir a la escuela? Go ahead, Reginald. What's it mean?
What clothes do you wear to school?
Yeah, what clothes do you wear to school? So let's talk about that. So what I would suggest is I would steal the verb right out of the question. So there's my verb. What clothes do you wear? So you're going to take te pones and just stick it in the yo form. And so just as a reminder, this is all really good review for your final exam, the written part too. When you see the te and you're putting it in the yo form, what's that te going to turn into? Somebody want to unmute real quick and just say it?
Me.
May, great. And then pones, we just need to put in the present tense yo form. It's not pono, it's an irregular verb. Anybody remember it or look it up?
Pongo.
Pongo.
That's so
All right.
cool.
So Keegan, since I've got you here, you want to read me your sentence for that one? What'd you say you wear to school?
Me pongo una camisa simplista.
Sorry, did you have more? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so me pongo, write that down if you didn't already have it. It's all spelled for you there. And you come up with something, a shirt, pants, a skirt, a dress, a coat. I don't care, whatever you wear to school. Now, basic would be one thing. If you want to go a little above and beyond, do 2 things, right? That's what I'm talking about. Push yourself if you are able. If not, give me 1 thing. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to reshare this and let's look at the next question. In case you are wondering, I just got an update that my son has been spying on my daughter. He does like to tell on her when she's not focused on her meeting, which she's probably not. Okay, let's look at the third one here. Preterite. ¿Jugaste un deporte el año pasado? ¿Jugaste un deporte el año pasado? All right, somebody tell me what that means real quick. Carter, what's it mean?
Did you play a sport last year?
Yeah, did you play sport last year? So what I'm looking for is I played. So put this jugaste into the yo form, past tense. It's a gar verb. So think about what that looks like. And then tell me a sport. So who wants to do that one for me? Somebody help me out. Maggie, what'd you put?
I'm not sure if it's right, but I said si juegue softball el año pasado.
Sure. Okay. I made it a little Spanishy here. So you can look it up. And that's the kind of thing too. If you need to look up your sport because you don't know how to say it in Spanish, that's something you can look up. So feel free to Google that. No problem. All right. So here's how it should look. Okay. Your verb should be jugue. We just looked at that on the quiz. G-U-E at the end. So when you say it, jugue, and I put softball, right? And I made it a little Spanishy. I did softball. Okay. So you decide. What sport did you play? If you didn't play a sport, that's fine. Say, no jugué un deporte.
Do we need to have like the last year part?
It's up to you. I mean, again, the more you have, the more it adds to it. But if you can't remember that part, then give me the basic. Okay. All righty, let's do the next one. Do one more together. Okay. Te duchaste esta mañana. So now we've got a little reflexive and past tense. Oh my. What's it mean? Te duchaste esta mañana. Somebody do a quick translate for me. Somebody hasn't gone yet today, please. Thanks, Emma.
Did you take a shower today?
Yeah. Did you take a shower this morning? All right. So again, if you don't know what that means, write it down. Did you take a shower this morning? All right. And let's see. So now I need that verb in the reflexive and the past tense. So you already did the first part for me 2 questions ago. What is that te going to change to? Somebody just unmute, say it real quick. What's the te going to change to?
May.
May, great. So you're going to say yes or no. So either you're going to say sí, may ... or you're going to say no. No, may. All right, somebody have the rest of the verb for me, and then I'll hold it up for you. How are we going to change duchaste? It's an AR verb. All you have to do is drop the aste and put it in the yo form, past tense. Ducho would be present tense. Somebody tell me what's my AR yo form ending in the past tense. Everybody knows this. Who wants the point? Who's got it? I showered. What's the AR form of the past tense in the yo form?
Carter put it in the chat.
Oh, thanks, Carter. All right. There it is. So it should look something like that, right? Sí, me duché esta mañana, or no, no me duché esta mañana. Now, again, how could you make that fancier? You could say, sí, me duché a las 7. Give me a time. Okay, so again, if you can give me the basic, great. You can give me more, give me more. All right. So let's see where we're at. I mean, we've gone through 3 of those. We did like 2 or 3 of those. So we've gone through at least a third of these. Let me just mention the last one in group B. So where did you use money last week? Now, I feel like this question's a little hard because some of us are stuck at home and we don't spend money anywhere ever. But why don't you pretend like it's not a pandemic and think about where you would normally use money, right? So again, if you want to use a vocab word, somebody asked me about this one, right? You could use money at the pharmacy or the supermarket or I don't know, a clothing store or the mall or downtown or a restaurant or I don't know. So that's kind of what I was asking in that. I guess it's not a super question considering half of us never leave the house or spend money on anything, but that's where that question was going. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing and I will need to get a feel for where you're at and what we want to do with our last few minutes of class here. So basically, what do we have? About 20 minutes. I need you to be done with these questions by tomorrow. Okay, that means you know what all of them mean and you have answers for all of them so that we can spend pretty much the whole period tomorrow practicing out loud. Now, I would be happy to give you some time today to practice if you are done with your questions or almost done with your questions. So basically the choice is going to be yours. Okay, I am going to let you leave the Zoom here in a minute. If you still just need to spend the rest of the period translating the questions, writing your answers, translating the questions, writing your answers. All right. I want them all done, all 15 for tomorrow. That should not be a big deal. We've done half of them in class almost. And then you were supposed to work on this last night. So if you want to stay on the Zoom because you're done or you're mostly done and you feel like you would like to start practicing out loud with somebody else, then I want you to stay on and I will partner you up with somebody else who is kind of in the same situation as you are. So if you are ready, if you're not ready and you want to go leave the Zoom, you can go ahead and leave, finish these for tomorrow.